Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. And by the video title, you know what this video is about. Do the Steelers need to trade for a receiver or sign one via free agency? Now we know the news was circulating a lot about, of course, all the different targets the Steelers can maybe do and get. We've seen DK Metcalf, I think a few months ago. That was a wild one. Then we've seen, of course, the Brandon Ayuk stuff and many more. And now people kind of wondering, after seeing the 53-man roster, should the Steelers go out there and bring in another receiver? So we're going to see exactly the three guys I think who might be valuable pieces. If the Steelers did bring in somebody, these three guys right here could probably be some pieces they could bring in. Starting off first, of course, you know, the Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk news has been circulating a lot. I think it's died down now. I think Brandon Ayuk will not be a Steeler. I think most likely he will stay with the 49ers. I know the news was circulating a lot. They were saying that he wanted to be in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers was gearing up to send a second and a third round pick to him to bring him in like that. But now I think it's kind of done. Now I think it's kind of over, and the Steelers are going to go a different route like that. It would have been cool to have Brandon Ayuk on the team, but you know, I feel like he got it done probably before the season started like that, because you don't want to have no distractions throughout the year. People asking questions about trading for a guy that's not on the team. You want to focus on the team and the team itself. So we're going to see exactly what happens after. I think 49ers most likely to keep him and probably work out a deal before the bye week time comes or something. They'll probably figure something out like that. They haven't heard anything yet fully about Brandon Ayuk signing any type of extension, but I think he kind of got in the works of maybe getting it done. So he's probably out the equation most likely. But that was a name that's still circulated. I think people made an article yesterday said how the Steelers can still trade for Brandon Ayuk. I'm like, guys, just let it die. Well, the next person, of course, I seen an article from it yesterday is John Mechie. They said a lot of teams was kind of like interested, and a lot of teams was like kind of like sending messages out to the Texans of trade interest and kind of keeping an eye on John Mechie. You know, John Mechie is a guy who was drafted a few years ago in second round by the Texans, a receiver from Alabama. His first year he didn't play because he was too busy beating leukemia, which was very good like that. He beat leukemia, he came back, and like the depth chart kind of changed a little bit because they had Tank Dell and Nico Collins. They got Stephon Diggs now, so they had a lot of different pieces. So he kind of fell a little down the depth chart, but he still has a lot of talent. We've seen some of the stuff last year when he did play in those few games he played, but we've seen it at college. You know, he had 1,100 receiving yards, 92 catches, I think, as well, 8 touchdowns in Alabama his last season. Very explosive player on the outside. Can play the X, can play inside as well in the slot. Can make all type of moves like that. He's one of those finesse type receivers, those guys who are very good at route running and know how to run a route precisely. Because you can run a comeback route, but if you don't run it in a way where it like kind of gets the cornerback out the picture, out the frame, out the play, it don't work. But he has all that type of technique out there. So it's good to see him get back on the field, you know, getting healthy and stuff. I think new scenery will help him a lot. I know Jahan Dotson got traded, of course, I believe it was last week. I think last week he got traded. Jahan Dotson, I think, is a pretty solid player as well. A route runner type of player too. Had kind of similar play style to John Mechie. Jahan Dotson, you know, had the injuries that kind of plagued him a little bit. So I think new scenery with the Eagles going to help him out a lot. I think some new scenery with John Mechie going somewhere else will help him out a lot as well too. So if the Steelers are looking to trade for him, that'd be good. I know he's kind of a smaller frame receiver, so kind of fit the same style of a Roman Wilson and a Calvin Austin, but I know he's a guy who has more potential than those guys like that. I know a lot of fans say they don't want a potential guy, they want a guy who's bona fide now, but sometimes you just gotta go take a chance. And I think John Mechie is a guy who's still very young, who's still very explosive in his league as well. I think he's probably like 1 year older than me. I think he's 24. I think so. He's 24 or 25. He might be 1 or 2 years older than me. Like, he's still a very young player like that. He only had 1 season on his belt because of the leukemia he beat. And I think him getting back on the team, a new scenery, a fresh-faced team would be great. And plus, last year the Steelers struggled a lot at receiver because the quarterback play was bad, of course, but also because the lack of depth at receiver. It really was just George Pickens. And then Jesse Johnson had his moments, but remember, he got injured. He was gone for a long period of time like that last year, and nobody else could step up in his place. And he came back later in the year, and he started picking up steam a little bit too for us, but he was gone. Remember, he got injured at 49ers game. I think he hurt his calf or his hamstring. He was gone for a little while like that, for like 5 or 6 or 7 games, and the Steelers struggled a receiver. Calvin Austin had 1 good game, and the Steelers was hoping that he'd be the guy that emerged. Like, okay, this Calvin Austin first year playing, because his rookie season he missed the whole season, and they were like, okay, we're gonna see if Calvin Austin can go out there and make something happen. And then Calvin Austin had 1 good game against the Raiders, and like Avatar Roku, when the world needed him most, he vanished, and he didn't play. He didn't have any type of good game or any type of like big time plays the rest of the season like that. He kind of vanished off the map a little bit. So we're gonna see if Calvin Austin can step up. Roman Wilson, we haven't seen him yet either as well at the play. Van Jefferson looks pretty solid as well, but there's a lot of question marks around the receiver room. Besides George Pickens, there's a lot of question marks for everybody else. So we're gonna see if those guys can emerge. If not, you might need to go out there and maybe seek a John Mechie or bring a different guy in. Another guy I have on my list too is a free agent, is Noah Brown. Noah Brown's the guy who started with the Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't really utilize him too much. You look at his production with the Cowboys. I remember his name because I live in Dallas, so I remember his name, like seeing Noah Brown like that. He made some plays here and there, but not really utilized a lot. I don't know if he was undrafted. Was he undrafted rookie? I think he was undrafted, if I'm not mistaken. I think unless he was a late round pick. He was undrafted though. But when he got to the Texans, he had a good year that first year, like 500-something yards his first year with the Texans. Then last year, I think that Buccaneers game was a game he went crazy on too as well. And he started playing better and better like that. He had some pretty solid years with the Texans. I think he's 28 years old. He's 6'2" as well, a bigger receiver. He know how to use his size as well. He plays big. So having a bigger receiver in our receiver room will help out a lot. You know, our receiver room really only have George Pickens, and everybody else is kind of like smaller in frame. Not to say they can't go out there and make those big plays and physical plays, of course, but they all smaller in frame. So I think bringing in a guy like Noah Brown could help out a lot too as well. And it might be a cheap deal. It wouldn't be nothing too crazy as well. I know a lot of the fans are content of running what we have now. I think what we have now is good, but I think it can get limited. If injuries happen, and we can kind of get like we was last year a little bit with limited, where you have George Pickens and nobody else. Teams just double team and take him out to play, and you had a hope that one of the other guys can make some plays. Now Roman Wilson can emerge as the second guy, or as the guy that we drafted in the 4th round. Like, you know, last year in Michigan he played pretty good, you know, so he can merge and like translate that over. I think he can probably. Then we'd be good, but it's still question marks. It's tough to see. It's like a what ifs, a lot of what if stuff. So we're gonna keep an eye on the receiver room, and keep an eye on all the free agents and the trade talks and stuff, and monitoring that, and getting prepared for the regular season. I can't wait for the regular season to start. You know, the news stuff is cool and all, but I prefer to just talk about the game itself like that. Get my take on the game itself of football like that. So yeah, so the news stuff, the news era is almost over, and then we get to the regular season and we get some things really pumped up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. And let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think and what receiver the Steelers should bring in. Free agent or trade target they should bring in. Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Peace out.